Hello, this is Griffel Newman.
Hi, this is David Simsbert Sims.
And we are Griffel and Simsbert.
Griffel and Simsbert. It's funny.
It works.
Yeah.
Thanks to producer Ben for that one.
Yep. 100% of the credit there.
You
and
were
100%
welcome,
of the
world.
lawsuits if either the estates of Siskel or Ebert wants to come after us.
You are, of course, listening to our podcast in which we dissect Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the first and sadly last of the Star Wars films.
A George Lucas film.
Yep, it's a George Lucas film.
George Lucas joint. I think it's credited as a George Lucas joint, right?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
It was supposed to be a franchise starter.
I guess so. Yeah.
Expansive sci-fi universe.
Right. There's a lot going on. That's what we're going to talk about. There's a whole world out there that we just brush against.
But unfortunately, much like John Carter, Jupiter Ascending, Battlefield Earth.
Hey, don't piss on Jupiter Ascending's grave before it's even dead. Like, we don't know.
I mean, look, I'd love to see a Jupiter descending.
Saturn ascending.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think my earlier superior joke was Jupiter achieving a cruising altitude.
Jupiter peaking.
Yeah, I was good on Twitter like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're here, and we just have to work with what we have, which is just
The Phantom
Menace.
Yep.
And some might say, "Oh, wait, weren't there?" I don't know what you're talking about.
The Phantom Menace.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. And if one were to reference other films, they would get docked points.
Yeah. And there'd probably be a hilarious sound effect.
Probably be a hilarious sound effect, but you get docked points. That's not what we're here to talk about in this podcast. We're here to talk about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And more specifically today, this weird group of people the film sets up called the Jedis.
The Jedis. Robed sort of priest policemen.
Yeah.
Who are very serious.
Very, very dour.
Very unfunny people.
The Jedi Knights, they're called.
Yeah, they are Jedi Knights, not wearing suits of armor.
Nope.
Suits of cloth. And by suits, robes.
No armor, actually. No protection of any sort. They're wearing all soft robes, soft goods.
Yeah, it's all soft goods.
Yeah, but they don't have helmets. They don't have pads. They do got weapons. They have these. Once again, I don't even know how to describe them. They look like laser swords.
They look like laser swords.
Yes, like
noticed early in the film.
They're like laser sabers.
Yeah, I think they're very bright sabers.
Like a light rapier, I would say.
Now, Griffin, they do call them lightsabers.
They do
sure.
call them lightsabers.
Yeah.
We do know that. We may not know much, but we know that.
We know that. Hey,
we know that.
And they make their base on Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about the Force.
A lot.
Whatever that is.
Well, as it is established within this film, it is a rare blood disease.
That's right. Yeah, they're kind of Yeah, they're robed street people in brown cloth who walk around with indestructible swords.
Light rapiers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't like you saying light rapiers. I don't like that.
Well, look it up in the dictionary, folks. I'm not saying anything inappropriate. Because I guarantee you, saying the word light rapier is perfectly illegal.
Can we get a time on how quickly it took Griffin to bust that out?
About 4 minutes in.
All right,
cool.
Good. And they occasionally will kidnap child slaves and surreptitiously test their blood without really telling them why.
Yeah.
Send those results to their central processing chamber where they, find new slaves to induct into their cult. It is a cult.
David, I just want to take it back for 1 second. I agree that it is a cult.
Yeah.
You said they will kidnap a child. That is not true. They will rig a bet in order to obtain a child
Right.
who then they own as a slave. But there's no kidnapping.
there is no point in this movie. I can't say that.
They'll rig a chance cube. Sure, motherfucker will rig a chance cube left and right.
We got to talk about the chance cube.
Gotta talk about that chance cube.
But yeah, I guess they do buy Anakin's freedom in this movie. But do they ever say that he's free? It's not really
no.
discussed. It's
Oh, no,
like,
David, he's not
you're
free.
from that job, and now you'll come with us.
No, he's not free.
Yeah, because like, what if Anakin was like, "Hey, actually, I want to be like, a salesman in the Mos Espa spaceport. Like, I want to sell some trinkets."
Too bad.
You think Qui-Gon would have said like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're free, so do whatever you want."
No, Qui-Gon would not have said that.
All right, so
David?
we should back up.
We should back up. I think we're speeding through this. Let's start to
No, we're done. That's
pick
it.
the
Right?
that's the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Let's start picking the nat shit out of the pepper here. Every episode of this podcast we're trying to devote to a different element of this film.
Yeah,
going into some
we're trying
aspect
to figure
in
out
detail.
what the movie is about.
That's
of course.
the goal.
We're trying
this podcast is a mystery.
Yeah. It's like a sort of, I'm making a hand signal. It's like a big ball of jelly, and we're just trying to get to the middle of it.
Digging what's inside this ball of jelly.
Yeah.
What is the Phantom Menace about?
What's it about?
And the Jedis, the lead characters in the film are Jedis.
Yeah.
I'd say Qui-Gon and
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan are probably the two main characters,
Yeah.
if I had to rank
Yeah.
them in order of importance.
I would say so. I think in terms of billing, star billing, Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor.
Anakin is an aspiring Jedi Knight.
Yes, a potential Jedi.
Mm-hmm. So one would argue that perhaps waiting until episode 3 to dissect the Jedi Order, the Jedi Council, was maybe shooting ourselves in the foot, because maybe that's the key to finding out what this movie's about, is looking at the main characters.
No, I think it makes sense that we spent the first episode on the first 8 minutes and the second episode on like Keira Knightley. I think it makes sense that it took us till now.
Keira Knightley, though.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley, though.
Is she a Jedi?
Oh, boy. She's not a Jedi, but she makes my rapier light up.
No.
If you know what I'm saying.
No. All right, so you're right. Of course, this is
I
the
am
most
right.
crucial.
She does make my rapier light up.
Why does your lightsaber sound effect just sound like a car starting?
Because
Not even like a fancy car, like a Corolla.
Because I'm so excited for Furious 7.
Yeah.
That every sound
Few
effect
more
I
weeks.
make right now. Yeah. I was eating a banana all like...
I just put Coach Griffin's car in park.
Yeah. You park my car.
No cars in this movie.
No cars in this movie. There are speeders.
Yeah.
There are ships.
Yeah.
There's a big line between speeders and ships.
Yeah, there's also a sort of a bubble craft at one point. Don't forget the bubble craft.
Yeah, the submarine type bubble craft pod. No, but there's the part, not to jump ahead, but there's the part where they're testing Anakin to decide whether or not he can be a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, where they're testing him.
They have the screen,
Yeah.
and he has to guess what's on the screen. He
Right.
goes, cup, a ship, a speeder.
Yeah. Which is a kind of ship.
He's so precise that he knows the difference between a ship and a speeder, except it's just a subclass.
They're such jerks. And then they're like, you can't be a Jedi, you're too old.
But that's like saying a cop, a primate, a chimpanzee. And it's like, well, but both of those are technically primates.
Yeah, well, the first was not clear.
Okay. A little foggy. The Jedis of this film wear the cloaks with the swords. Beginning of the film, they try to...
They've been sent as negotiators.
Yes.
To diffuse the situation.
Yes. TC-14, our favorite lady.
She's so smart.
Maybe the hottest bitch in the game right now.
Oh, she's so smart and sexy.
She...
Walks in there with her tea, and she's like, yo.
Goes back to
Jedi
our friends,
Knights.
the Nemoidians. Yeah, she's like, I think these are Jedi Knights.
What do the Nemoidians say?
They go, but why are they trying to... I don't remember what they say.
Yeah,
They say something like
who
that.
knows what they say?
But the point is, Jedis are that recognizable.
Right. They all look kind of look the same too. They all wear the same very simple clothing. So they're somewhat monastic.
Yes.
You don't see them with wives or girlfriends.
Yeah. Oh. I believe love is forbidden.
Is that mentioned? in this movie?
Well, it's just weird that none of them have any.
There's no. I don't think it's mentioned in this movie, though.
That was my analysis.
You're going bright red.
Look, nothing was said, but I'm allowed to go into a deeper reading. I'm not basing it on any external knowledge of any other things I've seen.
And I mean, and we can't deny the fact that Qui-Gon Jinn, a grown man, spends 100% of his time with Obi-Wan, who is, I don't know how old he's supposed to be, about 20 years old, maybe.
And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Two good-looking men.
Oh boy!
Enough.
How's your lightsaber doing right now?
Oh boy! I mean, I'm saying, as inspired by you, I gotta coin a new term here. With looks that could make a mouth shudder like Boss Nass. You see those faces, you go.
Two pretty faces. Qui-Gon's got a nice little close cropped beard.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is a sort of a peachy, fuzzy face.
God.
And he's got a dumb crew cut and a lame ponytail.
Yeah, but you cut that off while he's sleeping. He's good enough to bring home to Dad.
And Qui-Gon's got head and shoulders kind of shoulder length hair.
Oh, look at that
great
fucking hair.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So they're good looking guys,
right?
But there are girl Jedis. We think.
Yeah, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of romantic mingling of the two.
No.
My point here, because, my statement that love is forbidden is based entirely off of just this one film and no external knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd think that were they allowed to engage with the fairer sex, they'd be picking up biddies left and right.
Oh, my God.
Left and right. They're
Qui-Gon
traveling
would
around
have
the galaxy.
to swat him away with his green lightsaber.
Traveling around the galaxy. And even when they go to the Jedi Council,
and
there are all these other Jedis there.
Yep.
Some of them female. And once again, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe
they're
some
homosexual.
of them are...
Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan may be homosexual.
I didn't realize this podcast was going to get political.
There are enough male... Look.
Yeah.
You give me a soapbox, I'm going to stand on it.
Okay.
There are enough male Jedis there of different species. The point is, whatever floats their boat, they're coming across enough different types of creatures.
Yeah, maybe you're into creatures.
Hey, totally cool by me.
But there's no evidence that there's anything going on.
No. And I think were they allowed, they would go for it.
Right.
But they don't.
No.
They wear these robes, and they carry these swords.
And they serve as intergalactic functionaries.
Right. Well, they're supposed to sort of... they're presented as ambassadors.
Somewhat neutral. Like, they have a sort of, like, they have no side. Like, that's why they're being sent in, right? Like, they're sort of ombudsman for the galaxy.
Yet they wear these very identifiable ensembles.
Yeah, and they carry really powerful weapons with which they can basically take apart an entire ship.
Right.
And do in the first minutes of the movie.
So they're going in under false pretenses, but not trying to hide who they are at all.
No, they in the first scene of the movie, which I think might have talked about a little bit.
A little bit.
They are so incredibly disdainful of their work and what they're being made to do. They're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Here we are on this dumb ship, I guess. Oh, they're bringing us tea, these losers.
But whose fault is it? Should the Republic of Naboo said, hey, we're going to send some Jedis there to talk about it and let the Nemoidians know.
Right.
Is it their bad, or should the Jedis, if they were sent to function as ambassadors, maybe, I don't know, put on a nice suit, nice clean suit?
Right.
If not, don't ask, don't tell. Are you a Jedi? Yes, I am indeed a Jedi. Instead of giving it away from your basic appearance, because the second they walk in, TC-14, hottest bitch in the game, goes back to the Nemoidian and says, I think they're Jedis.
Doing her job, by the way.
I think they're Jedis. And it's like, you think they're Jedis?
They're Jedis. She's just being polite.
Yes.
She's just being polite because she doesn't want to be like, hey, guys, I know everything and you know nothing.
Right.
But FYI, those are a couple of Jedis.
Those are cool Jedis. She has a real... If she had rollable eyes, her eyes would have rolled when she said that.
But her eyes are just little light sockets.
I think they may be Jedis.
Did you look at them for like 1 second? Anyway, TC-14.
Anyway, very quickly... Gas gets leaked in.
Can we interview the person who voiced TC-14?
Oh my God. I bet we could find her, right?
Right? That's got to be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to look up.
Anyway, they come in, gas comes in. They take down everything the Nemoidians throw at them, be it gas, battle droids, closing doors, everything.
You realize how agile and capable they are as fighters.
We haven't even gotten to the pack. Yeah, they have magic powers.
They have magic powers.
We didn't even talk about this. They can blast things across the room just by moving their hands. They can brainwash people. They are possessed of like a terrifying amount of power for galactic policemen.
I mean, once again, one man's magic powers are another man's fatal blood disease, but they have abilities.
They can jump around. They can block laser weapons like with precision accuracy with their like rather skinny laser swords. They have
premonitions.
They can see the future, kind of. Although they're always like, it's cloudy. So I don't know how good that power is.
David, I have some terrible news.
Oh no! Oh god! TC-14 is dead.
TC-14 was played by a man.
Wow, I feel really bad right now. Is that the actor in the suit, or also because that is a female voice?
Ooh, good point. They're probably two different listings. That was who played him in the suit. Okay,
Right,
hold on.
right.
Played her in the suit. Okay. Oh my god. Oh.
Because I mean, TC-14 is genderless. It is a robot. It has no, apart from the voice, it has no. It looks exactly the same as every other robot.
David.
Okay.
Do you remember when I told you that I had some bad news?
Oh boy, yes.
And it was John Fenson. Oh god.
Who played
How
TC-14
disappointing
in the
could
suit.
it be? TC-14, we want to meet the actress.
Right.
Oh, it's a guy. He's
Right.
a grip. It's his only acting role. Right?
Sure.
He hasn't worked on anything since a short in 2008, right?
Ooh.
How disappointing could things get?
Okay.
I've now found out who is the voice of TC-14,
Yes.
and I have some great news from you. It is better than we ever could have imagined.
Is it Olivia de Havilland?
TC-14 is played by one of our mutual favorite underrated actresses.
Who?
TC-14 is played by the great Lindsay Duncan.
Oh, what? She is. Lindsay Duncan is a treasure. A national treasure.
A national treasure.
An international treasure.
Lindsay Duncan, who played the underwritten theater critic role.
Yeah.
Poorly written. It was
Badly written.
overwritten.
It was overwritten.
It was overwritten.
And badly written in Birdman.
Thinly written.
Yes. Yeah.
But overwrought.
But hell, she tried her best.
Oh, she played the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Some of you may know her from the Doctor Who Waters of Mars, which
That's
is
right.
maybe my
That's
favorite
right.
episode of that series. She was the mom in About Time.
Yeah, she had the underrated BBC miniseries Perfect Strangers by Stephen Polyakov. She is absolutely extraordinary in it. She's a great actress.
My uncle.
Who knew? Lindsay Duncan.
Right?
I know that they made the movies in England, and so they would just
Yeah.
sort of scoop up people to,
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp and Oliver Ford Davis, these like Shakespearean legends, you
Yeah.
know. But who knew? Wow.
The great Lindsay Duncan has 3 lines as the voice of a robot who
That
serves
is-
tea.
Who we have been talking about like every episode of this podcast for 10 minutes.
TC-14 has probably clogged more airtime than any other
Yeah,
character.
I think TC-14 right now, if you made a pie chart of everything we've talked about, would be the biggest chunk.
Yeah, no question. Oh God, I just can't. Now, if I...
What? You want to...
As if I didn't already want to fuck TC-14, now that I know it's Lindsay Duncan...
This has been our dirtiest episode
No
yet.
question.
Yeah.
Lindsay Duncan is like one of the most beautiful...
She's a gorgeous lady.
67-year-old women I've
Oh my
ever
God.
seen. I don't mean that as like a
No,
qualifier.
you're not being patronizing.
No, I mean...
You're just objectively. Like,
she's-
every woman will be 67 at some point. Well, one hopes.
She may honestly be on my top 10 actress crush list.
Yeah, sure. Lindsay Duncan.
She's so beautiful.
Imagine walking
Yeah.
into a party with her. Imagine like walking
jeez.
into the White House with her on your arm. Everyone would be like, oh, hi.
Call me crazy, but I think we'd actually make a good couple.
Yeah, you'd make a great couple.
Right?
I mean, it depends. I don't know what Lindsay's looking for at this point in her life. If she maybe wants to have a little fun with a younger man.
I think she might. And also, I mean, let's be honest, I'm not that much fun. I mean, if she wants to have a little fun with a younger man, I'm the choice. But, like, the idea is, like, sometimes someone older dates someone younger and they're like, I can't keep up with him.
Right.
You can keep up with
yeah,
me.
you can keep up with it. I mean, but you do have to watch, like, a lot of, like, DVDs in your apartment.
Yeah, but that's the point. You get to stay on the couch and drink tea, and then
Right.
you have to watch Chicken Run a bunch.
Ooh, Chicken Run. She might be a voice in Chicken Run for all we
God,
know.
I hope she's a voice in Chicken Run. I want to fuck that chicken.
All right.
Let's stop talking about Lindsay Duncan and TC-14.
The Jedi Knights.
The Jedi Knights.
Okay, so I'm just saying, it's
Yeah.
crazy to me that there is so much. These guys are so powerful.
Yeah.
They are so scary. Everyone's scared of them. The Nemoidians in their big donut ship are like, Jedis, what are you talking about? Oh, let's kill them. And yet they are the ones everyone's leaning on for, like, oh, could you go solve this problem for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, could you go fix this crisis, please?
Yeah.
What the hell?
In the opening credits scroll, I believe they're described as guardians of peace and justice.
They are. Who invested them with this power?
Well, that's my big question I want to investigate into, because all we know about the Jedis are the events that happen within these 2 hours and 12 minutes of film, right? We have no prior context for who these people are.
None at all.
They have a base of operations on the planet Coruscant where
Yep.
real estate must be primo expensive.
Oh, but we don't know what district it is. Maybe it's like,
It's all one district. The whole planet's a city. David, the whole planet's a city.
Do you know what school district they're in? Or are they their own school district?
They're District 10.
So, yeah, they're in a big tower
They're in
the
a big
middle
tower.
of Coruscant.
Yeah.
And by the middle, I mean I don't actually know where it is because Coruscant is one big city. But it's
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
But it looks like they're
Or is it a pyramid?
No. It's a tower.
It's a tower.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it looks like
Because they have this 360. It's like a revolving restaurant at
Yes.
the top of a hotel.
exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you. But way higher up.
Right, way high up.
Yeah.
Basically in the clouds.
Because the base is so skinny, it looks like it could only be an elevator to the top.
Right. It's the dumbest design in the
Yep.
world for a building you don't want to get blown up by like errant lasers or spaceships crashing into it. Like how on earth
if
is it
someone
not?
leaned on it, it would crumble.
Who
it looks
built this
so
thing?
insecure. Probably, fucking Plo Koon, knowing him. He was a great Jedi, but not a great architect.
I mean, as we all know.
Yeah. The great Plo Koon.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Plo Koon is the Jedi who looks like a bug. He's got a cockroach face.
Have you got all their names filed away in your brain?
I got most of them. I have to look a couple of them up.
But so we actually don't know much about the Jedi's organizing structure except that the bosses seem to be in this revolving restaurant room.
Who anoints them with this power?
No idea. They seem to have a relationship with the Galactic Senate.
But do they work for the Senate?
Not clear.
Do they answer to anybody?
Doesn't seem like they answer to anybody, but they talk to everybody. Ooh.
So much like David's making money fingers.
Yep.
His fingers are turning into money.
Yeah.
Much like a religion, there is sort of
They are a religion. Or a cult. I keep
a
calling it a cult.
self-created sort of power structure
Yeah.
and system, and they take on their own responsibilities.
Yes.
And overseeing things in the community.
Yeah, in the galactic community.
And I guess, when there are big issues going on in the world, sometimes like the president will call in like an archbishop and
Yeah, but I mean,
whatever. But it feels weird. I don't understand.
we've been trying to talk about, and we talked about with Amidala, like Lucas maybe finding analogs in the real world for
Right.
these things. The Jedi, in every way, are like the Vatican.
Yes.
They are like this sort of independent religious organization that has a lot of influence. But it's rather than starting wars all over the place, and I don't think George Lucas is trying to lionize the Vatican, is he? Is this a
No, I don't think so. I don't think he likes religion. And once again, I mean, one could argue with our previous take on the film as like Lucas saying that the bourgeois culture needs to collapse in order for true freedom to exist in the world.
That everything has become ossified.
Yes.
That Coruscant especially has just become
Yeah.
a bureaucracy where everything stands still.
The Jedi Council itself seems pretty goddamn bureaucratic.
Yeah, and really insular.
Really insular.
Like, oh boy, guys, can we just take it easy? Like, it's a 6-year-old kid.
For a group that's
Is he
that
6? How old is
diverse, they seem very, very...
But incredibly diverse. Very diverse. Very impressive.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm just reinforcing. You're absolutely
For a
right. They're
group that
very
is
diverse.
So diverse. They seem so exclusionary.
They do.
Yeah.
They're jerks.
Yeah.
And okay, so this is a good point. So I think you're right. Like it's all part of Lucas's whole concept of like power eventually corrupting, even if you don't want it to, and just things rolling to a halt. The Jedi Council, we only see them in a couple scenes late in the film. After Qui-Gon Jinn, one of their knights, who roves around the galaxy, has brought them a child whose blood tests, and we'll get to that. That's gross. Have indicated that he has a high count of midichlorians.
Yep.
Which means apparently he is born to be a Jedi. They give him a couple tests. They ask him a lot of mean questions, and then they're like, "Yeah, he's too old. Forget it."
Now, this is a big point I want to
It
get
is
to.
one of the most unsympathetic scenes in the film, and this is a film that involves murder, impalement, people getting chopped in half, starships blowing up, racist Japanese aliens,
Yeah.
racist Jamaican aliens, racist Jewish aliens, racist, other miscellaneous racist aliens.
Oh, which, by the way, last week you were saying you were surprised that I wasn't spending more time trying to ape Padme's voice.
Oh, yeah,
her
sure.
weird stilted speaking style.
Yes.
And the obvious answer why I wasn't going for it was because it wasn't a racist caricature of another group.
Are you about to drop a bomb?
Well, in rewatching the film for now my 5th time in the last month.
Yep.
I figured out exactly who Padme speaks like.
Okay.
She speaks like South Park's version of Canadians. We in the Senate do believe that, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Trade Federation
doesn't
must
say
come
guy.
to a halt.
Relax, guy.
Yeah.
Committee. That's the
committee.
The only line I can hit.
Committee.
With her is committee.
Committee.
Why does she talk? Anyway,
I don't know. She's Canadian. That's my point.
Yeah, she's a Nebudian.
Nibiu.
All right, so I'm just saying the Jedi are jerks.
They're
in
jerks.
This movie.
Yes, they're
And
judgmental
Qui-Gon
jerks. Yeah.
is a whole different kind of jerk. There's 2 jerks.
Yeah.
But the Jedi Council, they're like, no, we're not accepting any new members. They're like the Park Slope Food Co-op, you know? They're up their own ass.
This weird age thing of like...
He's a child. How young are they supposed to be?
Thank you.
How old is he? Is he 8? How old is he in the movie?
8, 9? What, you're supposed to be 3?
Like, what are they looking for
What
here?
is it?
And also,
being a Jedi is like being a gymnast. If you don't start like at infancy, then you're too old.
And also, he passed a blood test, which seems to be 99% of it. It seems it's like, oh, he's got the Force in him, so boom, like he's a Jedi, right? So,
but I mean,
don't you want to keep an eye on him?
Yes, and to your cult point, the age thing reads to me as, oh, if someone has the abilities, they have this blood disease.
Yeah.
They're in the running to be a Jedi. We need to get them before they form any sort of personality, before any outside experiences shape them in any way, so we can mold them entirely to what we want them to be.
And so they won't really have emotions because they seem to get really hung up on Anakin, this little boy who, let's run down his life. Born a slave, works for a Jewish alien racist slave stereotype.
No father.
Mother seems nice enough.
Yeah. But she's probably a pathological liar because she's told him that there was no husband, there was no guy involved, which is not true.
Yeah,
There's no true.
Come on. Builds robots in actually the kid's life actually sounds all right.
It sounds pretty rad,
He's a
actually.
champion racer in an interplanetary racing forum, and then is taken away from his mother.
Yes.
So that's a little sad.
Yeah.
And he was a slave.
Yeah.
Met Natalie Portman. That's a bonus. And then so they're saying like, oh, what are you angry? You're angry right now? Like they're asking him things.
Oh,
they
sorry.
say,
are you scared?
They ask him if he's afraid. That's right. They don't even ask him if he's angry. It's just if he's afraid.
And then Yoda goes, well, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering.
Now, who's this Yoda? I call him Yoda.
I don't even remember his fucking name. This guy does not stick in my mind. This is not a well-defined or memorable character.
He's a CG creation in the Blu-ray that I watched.
Yes.
He's, I don't know what, 3 feet tall. He's like a green guy with alien ears and sort of hair and like gray hair. He's like a little guy. He talks like in this sort of
this weird stilted speak I can't get the hang of.
Yeah, this sort of phonetic nonsense.
Yeah.
And he's kind of there's 2 bosses, it seems.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 main guys in the Jedi Council.
Yes.
You got Yoda, and you got Samuel L. Jackson, an excellent actor, Academy Award nominated actor.
Yeah, surprised he took such a
in
small
like
role.
Like a few lines as a bald Jedi Knight called Mace Windu.
Maybe he was old friends with Lucas or something.
Who knows? He seemed very interested in being the project. That's all I know.
Yeah, I don't know why. They couldn't have paid that much.
Exactly. It's a little confusing, but nonetheless, there he is. Both of them are grumpy guts.
Everyone in this board is grumpy guts.
Boy, oh boy.
You're not even talking about Qui-Gon.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy with the penis head. He's the Jedi member whose head looks like the tip of a penis. He's got a bumpy noggin that goes up way tall, and if you rub it really hard, cum comes out.
Okay. You mean he's the one who kind of looks like an Easter Island head?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I know that one, right. And does he even say anything?
Well, you know what I call the Easter Island statues?
Please go ahead.
The circle of penises.
Are they arranged in a circle? I didn't know.
You're right. I was confusing it with Stonehenge. You know what I call Stonehenge?
Go ahead.
Penis henge. Qui-Gon Jinn.
Does he even say anything? He thinks he has a couple of scant glances, a couple lines.
And he goes, he says some dumb fucking expositional nonsense. The point is, he's one of only 3 Jedis who has lines.
Right.
It's Qui-Gon, Mace Windu, and Yoda. And all Qui-Gon says, he just backs up their points, but with this very kind of stiff upper lip, aristocratic, judgmental.
The kid is being interrogated by a circle of magical beings. Like, he can't even turn around without more of these motherfuckers being like, "Are you frightened?"
He's like fucking 3 million fucking miles up in the sky.
Yeah, in the dumbest tower that, like, if there's the slightest breeze, it might fall over. For all he knows.
He grew up as a fucking slave on a sand planet.
Yeah, he lives in a sand hut.
It's all huts. There are no tall structure. The biggest structure he's ever seen is the Colosseum where the pod races start.
To be fair, he did race in like 700-mile-an-hour races, so he has some experience with danger.
He knows how to go fast, but going up high is a whole different ballgame.
You're absolutely right. And I take everything back. Everything I say, what's wrong?
You might have a fear of heights. Because pod racers, they go fast, but they're pretty low to the ground.
Yeah.
They're barely elevated.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And there's even one point where he goes up high in the pod race, and he looks nervous.
He's a little... Well, we're going to get to the pod race.
That's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other episode.
That's maybe a 2-parter.
Yeah, maybe like a 10-parter.
It might be a 12-parter.
Yeah, maybe like a 100-parter.
Yeah. That might be its own podcast. But he's in there being interrogated by all these people, and they're just looking on. Now, can I sidebar for a second? Because you asked me if I knew all the Jedis.
Yeah.
And I was testing myself earlier today to see which ones.
How many are there in that room?
It's a little hard to tell.
Fair enough.
The Wikipedia entry for the Jedi High Council lists every member there ever was.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's an expanded thing. I mean,
yeah,
I'm really
a lot
just
of
talking
them,
about the one film that
novels,
came out.
The prequel novels, right?
Yeah.
There was all the supplemental material created around the release of The Phantom Menace that we're not interested in at all. But Mace Windu, obviously. Sifo Dyas.
Oh, who's the... Yeah.
Who,
no,
he's got, like, face tattoos.
Okay, all right.
He's got sort of, like, lines on his face.
Okay.
Then there's Evan Peel, who's, like, pink. He's got long Yoda-esque ears, but he's missing an eye. He's got, like, a scarred-over eye. He's very short. Played by an actor in makeup, which made me think, if we can just sidebar here for a second, Yoda, as you said, fully a CGI creation. I don't know about you, but I grew up with all these great...
Jim Henson creations,
like sci-fi movies of like
puppets.
The 70s and 80s, things like Willow, sci-fi fantasy.
Love Willow.
The Black Hole.
Legend.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love these practical animatronic. And you brought up Jim Henson.
Farscape. Sorry.
You brought up Jim Henson, right? The actor they have doing the voice of Yoda, I looked it up. Frank Oz.
Oh shit. The
Muppeteer
voice of so many
extraordinaire.
Muppets.
Fozzie, Miss Piggy, Animal.
Why is he doing this dumb computer blob?
Give this guy a puppet. That's his strong suit.
He can operate that puppet.
It's not like he's an actor. He's a puppeteer.
And a director.
And I'm sure a wonderful director. But I'm sure he would be the first to say that, it's not about doing a voice. As a puppeteer, it's the whole body because you're acting through your hand.
Now, to be fair,
put him in a booth, have him say lines.
All this lame character Yoda does is sit in a chair.
It sounds very easy to puppeteer.
At one point, he is standing because he has a second scene with Obi-Wan late in the film. I forgot about that.
He has like 4 scenes in the movie. There's 3 Jedi Council scenes, and there's one scene at the end where Yoda gives Obi-Wan permission to train
Gives
Anakin,
him the green light.
Much against his better wishes.
Yeah.
He goes, fine, I guess. He's really passive-aggressive.
Yeah.
If you insist, I will let you train the boy.
Right.
Because that's a big sticking point, too, is they go, we don't want to take him on. And Qui-Gon goes, I'll take him on.
Right. Qui-Gon, it seems, and I wanted to talk about that, is a bit of a fanatic, but also a bit of a radical in this organization. He's behaving in ways that they don't really understand.
Well, his big sticking point is he believes in this prophecy.
Yeah. Again, this movie is overloaded with insane exposition about these people that we barely understand. Georgie.
This is the first film in a franchise.
Georgie Porgy.
You got to start small and build up.
Georgie girl.
You give it too many details, we're not going to be able to keep track.
Seriously. So we got Jedi Knights, we got the Council. There's a blood test that tests if you can use the Force, which is a magical thing which you can use to fight people and brainwash them. Nothing good, by the way. All their powers are really scary.
Really scary.
It's not like they can make candy appear. It's not. Griffin.
Or can they?
Or can they? We don't actually know.
God.
All we see Qui-Gon do throughout the movie is brainwash people and murder people.
Yeah.
That is all that he does.
This hand wave thing. He tries to convince people of other things.
Yeah. And messes with a chance cube.
Messes with a goddamn chance cube.
is
nothing sacred?
Yeah, exactly. if you can't trust a chance cube, how are you going to get any bets done?
That's how we're supposed to make these decisions that are too big for mere mortals.
What if it's like, it's a thing where you want to roll a 50-50 chance of something happening? You know, there's only one way to do it. It would be a 6-sided die in which 3 are colored blue and 3 are colored red. And then if blue comes up or red comes up, then you know who's won. That's the only way to figure this out. That's the only way to decide a 50-50 chance.
Yes. What are you going to do instead? Pick something with 2 sides on it and
I don't
flip
understand
it?
what you're talking about. I don't understand what you're talking
How
about.
would that work?
No. I don't understand.
A 6-sided chance cube.
Yeah, a chance cube.
A chance cube.
You know, the simplest form on Earth is a perfectly even sanded cube.
Yeah.
And those are so easy to create.
Yeah.
And impossible to mess with.
Yeah.
You can't create a loaded one. Oh, well, actually, you can.
You can't create
You
a
can't
loaded
mess
chance
with them with the force of will. Actually,
well,
you can. Yeah. But still,
Other
you know.
than that, it's a perfect form of decision making. All good flying Jews have them in the Star Wars universe.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, in the Phantom Menace universe.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying the Phantom...
No, I know what you're talking about.
I know it's the Star Wars universe, but since we only got this one film,
yeah.
why call it the Star Wars universe? It's the Phantom Menace universe, the Phantom Menace verse. Qui-Gon keeps on going on and on about this prophecy.
There's some prophecy of balance to the Force.
One Jedi is going to bring balance to the Force.
I guess the Force is out of balance.
I don't know. It seems pretty balanced to me.
No, I mean, it doesn't seem great.
The power isn't great. They all seem to be powerful.
That's true.
The problem to me seems to be the way the Jedi Council is choosing to behave.
Yeah, and the way that they're choosing to induct people into their strange cult.
Right.
Their strange, super legal cult.
Right. So bring balance to the Force. It's like, be the change you want to see in the world,
In the worlds.
Yeah. Things go from the top down. Mace, Yoda, Yaddle, Plo Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi.
I think there was another name you wanted to tell me. There was one name in particular.
There is.
Seem very interested in. This is a pre-show.
Adigalia, Evan Peel, but this is the one I really want to tell you. Saifo Diaz, this is the one I really want to tell you.
This is the guy with the very long neck and then a head right at it. He's got a bit of a Jedi Temple head to him, or Jedi Council
Maybe
head.
they modeled it after him.
Yeah.
He looks like a Q-tip. He has some of the most expressive character animation I've ever seen. Because, of course, if a character has a really long neck, it means their neck is constantly going to be moving.
Around.
So in the background of every shot, his neck is just
sort of
wiggling.
Swaying, yeah.
Just wiggling, right? His head is staying still and the neck is wiggling while the head stays in position.
Right. And his name is... I genuinely don't know what his name is.
Yariel Poof. Y-A-R-A-E-L.
Not a bad first name.
Poof. Now, David.
Yeah.
We're good friends?
We are. We've known each other a long time. Yeah.
One of the things I know about you is that you spent your adolescent years living in London, England.
In the United Kingdom, that's right.
Poof has a slang meaning there, does it not?
I want to point out this movie shot in the United Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
Almost entirely.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, poof does have a slang meaning in that country, does it not?
It's slang derogatory. What might be the word you want to use?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an offensive word to mean a homosexual man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting you bring that up because I'd like to tell you what the name of the species that Yariel Poof falls into. Can I tell you?
Yeah, you can tell.
He's a queermian.
What? He comes up with all the names, right?
From the homeworld of Queermia.
Oh, my God.
He's a Queermian male. Queermian.
How did you not lead with this when we were talking about, like, Jedi sex lives? Queermian.
I had to save it.
Yeah. Well, you did a good job.
He is 2 letters away from just being called a queer man. And his last name is Poof. Is Queermian.
Oh, God.
He's a queermian from the planet
He's really
Queermia.
just one changed vowel and then moved forward. That's all you need.
He created a queermian alien named Yariel Poof. So we've spent a lot of time in the past talking about the racist connotations of certain characters' behaviors, vocal
Accents,
patterns, names,
occupations.
Yes. Interest in money.
Goals.
Circumcision strategies. We thought it was...
Views on women.
Yes. We thought it was just limited to race.
Yeah, to other cultures.
Right.
Is George Lucas Jewish? By the way? I thought he was Jewish. Is he not Jewish?
I think he's not.
Yeah. Anyway, we can figure that out later.
Yeah. But no, George Lucas also apparently hates people of different sexual orientations.
What is the matter with him?
What is the matter with him?
I think that he literally, like, when he's coming up with the names, he gets, like, a few good ones, like Darth Maul. That's good, right? You know, and then after a while, he's like, I don't know, queer poofter. I don't know, whatever. Like, it's terrible.
Can I read a little description from Uriel Poof's
You can.
Wikipedia entry?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
His backstory isn't that interesting, but I want to get into this. This is talking about the Queermian race.
Yeah.
Okay? Some of the things that define the Queermian race. As a Queermian, Poof's unusually long legs, body, and neck caused him to stand some 3 feet taller than other humanoid species. Okay.
Sure.
That's what we saw.
Yeah.
In addition to his upper arms, Poof has an additional set of delicate arms, which he hid under his cloak. Weird.
Hid them.
Secret arms.
Keeping something a secret.
Possessing remarkable dexterity because of the extra set of limbs, Poof's sensitive, olfactory glands were located in his hands.
Nose hands?
Yep. Poof has 4 hands, and he uses them to smell things. He had 2 brains, one located inside his skull and the other in his chest.
It's pretty cool.
I just thought I should share this cool stuff. I don't know, we spent a lot of time talking about how unfortunate the naming.
More of this guy? Why is it so much of the stupid Yoda guy who's just like, you know, and Samuel L. Jackson phoning it right in. He basically Skyped that performance in, except Skype hadn't been invented yet. And then you've got a 2-brained gay icon sitting like 3 chairs over.
Hold on. We don't know that Uriel Poof is gay. We know how George Lucas feels about gay people.
Fair enough.
We don't know. Let me see.
Is there any mention of his personal life? You know how on Wikipedia when you look up an actor and you just scroll right to their personal life?
The problem is his biography is so fucking long.
Well, this is
I
Wikipedia.
gave up on a point. He doesn't have a personal life because Jedis aren't allowed to love.
Jedis? Well, this is what you say at least. There's really no mention.
None of them have relationships. Name me one Jedi within the film The Phantom Menace that has a relationship, sexual or romantic, with anyone.
There's a couple of glances between Obi-Wan and Amidala.
He's not interested.
No, he's not interested.
If he wanted to, he could have hit it.
I think that might be part of their whole creepy cult induction thing. Get them while they're young.
Yeah.
And figure it out, like, you know, just purge all the usual urges, interests that a young person might have.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were all creepy eunuchs.
They might be.
They say Uriel Poof was discovered as a baby, so he didn't even have a chance to develop sexually.
So it's sort of it's actually, when I was comparing it to the Vatican, actually it's sort of like a Tibetan monk thing. Like they're finding these people basically as babies. They're doing the tests which they would do with Tibetan monks, where they especially with the Dalai Lama, where they ask them to identify objects that might belong to them. Yeah, even though they're children. And
ship, speeder.
And Anakin, we must note, who is a young slave boy. We haven't talked about him much in this podcast yet.
Because he's not fully a Jedi yet.
But he's a young slave boy who lives on Tatooine, which is a distant planet.
Where apparently they don't have scouts. You're telling me they had Queermian scouts, so the second that Uriel Poof was born, they were like, here's a
And this kid is off the scale.
Right,
apparently
off the
he's
scale.
higher than Yoda, which, like, I mean, for all I know, Yoda's a, damp fart, but everyone seems to be very impressed by that statistic.
Grandmaster Yoda. But
Grandmaster Yoda, Jesus.
Grand Wizard Yoda. But the point is, this kid's got off-the-charts midichlorians. Qui-Gon thinks he might be able to bring balance, and no one's noticed it until now. You're telling me they're going all around the galaxy trying to find all these different... They find people of all creeds, colors, sexual orientations, socioeconomic backgrounds.
And then just shut it all down.
From the moment they're born and go, we're taking your kid.
Yep.
We're making him a
wear
creepy,
brown clothes.
dickless Jedi asshole.
Yep. His job will be sitting in a poop chair in the tallest tower in Coruscant.
Right. I forgot we established that they're toilet
just
chairs.
Pooping constantly in those chairs.
Because they never stand up from the chairs.
And then, like, TC-14 brings them tea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you brought up Yoda.
Yoda. Yeah. Yoda.
You brought up Yoda. We brought up Yoda a lot.
Yoda.
We both have brought up Yoda. I think it's Yoda.
Yoda.
And how his reputation seems to precede him. And
Right.
his greatness, his authority,
Everyone's
his power
real hard on Yoda.
doesn't exert it that much, right? Now, there's another creature
Yeah.
on the Jedi High Council
Performed by a puppet.
named of Yaddle. Looks great. The proof was in the pudding right there. There's a puppet right next to you. Just do it as a puppet.
You got a puppet.
You got a puppet.
You can't just give the lady puppet the lines, maybe? Who cares about Yoda?
You have the great Frank Oz. He has played women puppets before. He has played Miss Piggy.
Just
for
get him
goodness
over
sake.
to the other side of the set.
Stick his arm up Yaddle's butt. We know the hole is there because they're already pooping in the chair. Just stick the arm up the chair's poop
This
hole.
is a real insight into behind-the-scenes Hollywood filmmaking right now. Yep.
Yaddle.
Yaddle.
Female Yoda.
Right.
Species, Yoda's species. So queer meaning they came with a full name, but there's still no there's still
no
no
name.
is.
There's no
I'm
name?
speaking like Yoda now. There's still no is name for species. There is not.
Why is that species mysterious? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yoda's species. Okay. Now Yaddle, also known as the one below. I heard that. I went. Does that mean she's one step below Yoda? Does that mean a woman is one step below a man?
That
Certainly.
sounds very regressive.
But Lucas has shown nothing but regressive views towards
Towards all creeds and colors that are not his own.
everyone. He just loves othering other people.
He
right?
does. It's a very othering movie.
Okay, so that's what I thought. But then I went into this. Yaddle, let me find this whole fucking entry here. Okay. There's a whole prologue I don't need to get into, right? But then, as part of a raid, as part of a mission, Yaddle was captured and imprisoned in a chamber deep beneath the ground by Tulak and subjected to various forms of torture. However, the green-skinned Padawan did not give in to Tulak's torture. Yaddle was still a Padawan at this point.
Which is an apprentice Jedi we've established. That's
Refusing
what
to tell
Obi-Wan
him,
is.
yes, refusing to tell him when the next Jedi would arrive to challenge the brutal Adavaz warlord after many interrogations. Yaddle simply replied that Turak's reign of terror would end. Tulak, furious that Yaddle was not buckling under torture, decided to keep Yaddle as a hostage, even though she would not submit to question.
What are you getting at here?
So
buddy?
fucking long.
Yeah.
Rather than keeping his captive, I'm jumping around. Tulak cruelly imprisoned Yaddle for life in her underground pit in case she ever became useful as a hostage in the future. Yaddle was imprisoned for 100 years.
Wow.
Yeah, here we go. Yaddle stayed in solitary confinement in her underground prison for over a century, and her only source of provisions were the wardens, who sent down baskets of fruit and vegetables for a time. However, as supplies on Koba ran low, the warden became so preoccupied with their own survival that they slowly forgot about the one below.
Wow.
Yaddle's existence became the stuff of legend, though a few pitiful beings continued to send food down the shaft as sort of ritual. Yaddle relied on the Force for survival.
Okay, so just again, why is this not the main character of the
Thank
whole
you.
movie?
That was my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Who is this Yoda motherfucker?
Who cares?
Oh, he got a high score on the blood test. Like, I don't care. I
Yaddle
want someone with some pathos.
has nary a line in this film.
Not a line, not a species,
Nope.
not a. That's all I got.
I mean, patriarchy in full effect here.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one below.
Now, we've been trying to say, maybe George Lucas is trying to make a point. Maybe there's a whole grand allegory going on here.
I mean, look, John McCain spent, 5 years as POW?
Sure, and we salute his service.
But we didn't elect him.
No.
He
Not
got
my
close, but we
precedent.
didn't elect him.
Not my precedent.
Yaddle, over a century down below,
Sure.
Jedi High Council, not the master.
Do you think maybe everyone else is like, well, she only got on the council because of the whole, one below thing? Like, she's actually not that great, but they're like, well, we all feel a little bad for Yaddle. After the whole she was in prison for 100 years with no food thing.
No joke. When Yaddle returned to the Jedi Temple in Coruscant, the Jedi Council determined that she had achieved enough unity with the Force. Yeah, you think so?
Oh, yeah, they were like, oh, yeah, it appears this all checks out. They were looking at their little checklist. Yeah. I mean, you didn't actually give us a carbon of your W-2, but we're going to let that slide.
A reminder, for 100 years, the last 90 of which they forgot to give you food.
And they're just sitting in their chairs the whole time. Pooping.
You were imprisoned and using the Force to survive. She somehow found a way to turn the Force into nourishment.
Yeah, the Force, which seems to be mostly a way to trick people and knock them onto their butts.
Okay, so since she had achieved unity with the Force, they decided that she did not need any additional training.
Oh, good.
Oh, thank you.
Phew. We were gonna have you run this gauntlet, this hurdle course, but
Yeah.
You know what? Here's a chair. We got a chair.
Yaddle, you
Let's
missed
just
a
hook
couple.
it up to the sewage system. 1 second.
You missed a couple of classes, Yaddle.
Yeah.
So we don't know if we can pass you.
Yeah, you got an incomplete in AP biology, but
Unfortunately, you can't just start up that class again because all of your teachers died in the century.
yeah. Also, none of us know who you are.
Yeah,
But
none of us have any frame of reference. The council proposed that Yaddle be elevated to the position of Jedi Master and offered a seat on the Jedi Council, even though she was still a Padawan.
so I'm absolutely right. It was a total sympathy seat.
Master Yoda, feeling that it was too strong a deviance from the typical Jedi code and Jedi training, was the only council member against Yaddle's elevation. What?
This guy. Well, you know what he was saying. He was like, "Look, I am the one representative of Yoda's species.
Of Yoda's species.
Which
Maybe you've
I
heard
named.
of me?
Yeah.
I'm the guy.
We used to be called something else, but now we're called Yoda's species."
However, after examining her story and through a quick glimpse into her future, Yoda backed
Jesus.
down, allowed Yaddle to join the ranks of the
This
Jedi
is like
Council
Gone
despite still having
Girl.
some doubts.
You know,
Yeah.
he's like subjecting her to this terrible and terrible. She's like still on the hospital bed, malnourished, and he's like, "Were you really in prison for 100 years?"
Key detail. However, through examining her story, not enough, and through a quick glimpse into her future. Not only did Yoda think she had served her
A
time
little glimpse.
down below, he had to take a little glimpse in the future and go,
Let's take a
Fine.
peek. And he's like, "Are we married? What? We're not? Oh yeah, right. Jedis aren't allowed to get married. Forget it.
Yaddle is not the main character.
It's crazy. This should be called the Yaddle, the epic saga of Yaddle.
The Yaddle Menace.
Yaddle Wars.
If you want to start a franchise off on a good foot, right? Because as we say, Georgie boy, too steeped in the mythology.
Georgie Porgy.
Right. Not giving us just a good story. Because episode 1, you want to launch off with some great characters that we all love, get us on board emotionally, and then you can flesh out the world.
Instead, it's like, oh, here's this kid. The end. Like, loose end, loose end, loose end.
Yeah. Episode 1 should all take place in the pit.
Yeah, it should just be episode 1, the pit.
The one below.
The one below.
Star Wars, episode 1.
Yaddle, episode 1, the love below.
What if it was called Star Wars, episode 1, below? Star Wars,
There's a movie
episode
called
the
Below.
one below.
Anyway, so that's the Jedi Council.
That's the Jedi Council.
They're crazy.
They suck.
They really suck.
They're
In this
pieces
movie,
of
they are
shit.
obstructionist jerks.
Yeah.
And so, apparently, the Jedis have an enemy, like a centuries extinct enemy
Don't
called
even
the
get me
Sith.
started on these guys.
And there are 2 Sith.
Always 2.
Apparently, they run in 2. You'd think they'd be able to figure out 2 guys. You know? You'd think that this galactic organization would be able to tackle 2 guys.
Or maybe, much like how a lot of us think that there should be changes made to our Constitution,
Oh, sure.
you know?
Yeah, but except for the Ringling brothers are down there in Washington, D.C. running the
Right.
show.
Right. Perhaps we need to update it, with the times, because some of these, terms that were set out were
Yeah, a little old.
antiquated.
Yeah,
with
sure,
reference
yeah.
to the world we lived in at that point, which no longer
Absolutely.
relates to the world we live in today. Maybe you go, oh, fuck, these Jedis have gotten it together. They have a fucking skyscraper.
Right.
They hang out inside of a Q-tip. They got a queer dude on the board with them. Maybe we should change our rules so there aren't just 2 of us.
Yeah, maybe we need more than 2
Maybe
to take down
Oh
the
no!
Jedi now.
Always there are 2, a
Oh,
master
wait,
and apprentice. The
master
question
and
is which
apprentice.
one was which.
The Sith, I don't know. Should we wait? Should we do a whole other episode on the Sith? I don't think so. There's really not much
you don't have
given.
Much to go off of. They seem very similar in training to the Jedis.
Yeah, they're simple robes, lightsabers, Force-y powers, knocking people over, but real mean streak.
Well, because it is established that Darth Maul is a Sith.
Yeah.
And when they come across him, they go, we came across a guy in Tatooine. What was he like? His powers, his training, very similar to that of a Jedi, but not precise.
Right.
You don't think he could be a Sith. They've been dead for centuries.
They've been dead
That's
for
what they say.
millennia. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Dead for centuries. And he's like, I got no other answer for you guys. Don't look at me. I'm saying, looked like a Jedi, smelled like a Jedi, wasn't a Jedi, has to be a Sith.
Right.
And they were like, no such thing.
Yeah, they're just like, well, yeah, maybe you saw it, but also, do they have cameras?
No.
This ship doesn't have any cameras. They could be like, oh, here's some footage of my
Yeah.
fight with the evil horned devil man.
All Comtech communicators.
Jesus. Let's not get back on the Comtech communicators.
That's every character in the film. If you look, when they roll up their sleeves, underneath their Jedi robes, they have a little chain with a bunch of Comtech chips on it. So each Jedi has like a Plo Koon, a Boss Nass, a Sio Bibble, so they can run those lines over.
No Yaddle, though, because she doesn't have any lines.
Nah, TC-14, though. I have brought tea for your enjoyment. Oh, fucking Lindsay Duncan. Yeah, bring me some tea. Bring me some shiny-ass tea, Lindsay Duncan. You're one of our finest actresses. You really get the credit you deserve. Oh, God, Lindsay Duncan.
Are we okay?
Yeah. My uncle,
Go ahead.
Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No, Jean-Claude Dauphin.
Right, yeah.
Told me he saw some BBC TV movie that Lindsay Duncan did where she played Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
And he said not only was it a better performance than the one Meryl Streep gave in The Iron Lady, but he thinks it was the single greatest piece of acting he's ever seen.
There you go.
So...
just watch your back, Meryl.
No less an authority than Jean-Claude Dauphin.
Jean-Claude Dauphin, who I've
Jean-Claude
heard
Dauphin.
stories about that guy.
He's such a good guy. Shout out to Jean-Claude Dauphin, who will never listen to this.
So the Sith, Jedi enemies. So the Jedis have no enemies except for these Sith who they dealt with a while
They're
ago.
just bizarro Jedis.
Yeah, they're bad Jedi. Bad Jedis.
But I don't know. If the Jedis are so close with the government, why don't they just go like, hey, government, just help us get rid of these Siths?
Well, there's only two of them.
There's only two.
And they live in an apartment in Coruscant together, as far as we can tell.
Yeah, there's that scene where they're on their patio talking.
They're on a patio.
Yeah.
They're basically eating like canapes and sipping like champagne.
Yeah.
You've got Darth something
Darth
Sidious, right.
Who I will say now on my 15th viewing of the film, call me crazy.
Yeah?
But the
Wait a second.
lower sixth of this guy's face looks a lot like Senator Palpatine.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What? Are you crazy?
That's all you can see
Senator
under the shadows.
Palpatine's
and
the helpful Naboo senator. He helps... Wait a second. He helps
I'm saying it's a coincidence.
Amidala untangle the knotted mess of the Senate and the bureaucrats.
And he gets elected to a higher position.
Yeah, which is good news.
Chancellor.
And he's right there at the end of the movie alongside the Queen being like, hooray, Naboo is free. Seems really happy about it.
He usurps the evil Chancellor Valorum.
That bastard.
That rat bastard.
And, so, I mean, Darth Sidious, he's the guy who organizes the trade blockade. He's very mean.
David, I am not saying they're one and the same.
Look, maybe it's just poor casting. We should check the credits
that's
sometime.
all
See
I'm
who's
saying.
credited as Darth Sidious.
I don't want to do it right now. We've checked a
do
lot
that
of
later.
things
We'll
on
do
the
that
podcast.
later.
I've taken time to look up things on my phone. I'm not going to do it now because who cares?
All right.
But
anyway, so there's that guy, older guy, and then a younger guy who wears black and red face paint. He has yellow eyes. He has fang teeth. He has horns on his head. He's a normal-looking guy.
Yeah, I like him.
Darth Maul.
I like him.
He doesn't have a first name that is given, at least. He's
Darth.
They're both Darth? Is it just a coincidence?
Oh, I guess that's a good point.
It might be a title.
It might be like Sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Doctor.
Sir Maul. Dr. Maul.
Dr. Maul.
And Darth Sidious mostly seems to chill out
Yeah.
and talk to people on a holographic communication device.
Oh, I know his first name. Greg. It's Greg
Archie.
Sidious. No, Archie is Maul. It's Greg Sidious and Archie Maul.
Darth Maul,
who
is really excited to take on the Jedi. He's in his one line of dialogue. He's like, "At last, we'll have revenge on the Jedi."
At last, we'll have. Yeah, I can't do a good Sidious.
No,
I wish he sounded
it's
more
Darth
like
Maul.
a different
Darth
ethnic
Maul says.
Oh yeah,
this.
he goes. At last, we will have. Peter Serafinowicz, I believe,
That's
is the
right.
voice of Darth Maul.
Yeah, Darth Maul is played by Ray Park, who is my English friend's high school gym teacher.
Really?
Yeah. Who is an Olympian? I think he was like an athlete.
I think he was like a martial artist.
Yeah, or martial. That's right. That's right.
Played Toad in X-Men.
Later, after this.
And Snake Eyes in the G.I.
G.I.
Joe
movies.
duology.
Not much of a talker, Ray Park. More but an acrobat.
No, more a physical actor.
Exactly. But he's pretty good.
Yep.
And
would have been great in the Silent One reelers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has this one fight scene with Qui-Gon early on, or middle of the movie, in Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
And then later he takes on both Jedi with a double-bladed lightsaber and takes out Qui-Gon.
Well, to be clear, in the first fight, he also has a double-bladed lightsaber. He's just choosing to only use one side.
He knows that he really wants that third act reveal to hit.
Yeah.
He wants it to land.
Yeah, he's a big believer in Chekhov's gun theory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, so the only real Sith purpose seems to be kill the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
At least Darth Maul. So, and he achieves that. He kills exactly one Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn.
One.
And then he gets chopped in half in a very exciting, beautifully staged lightsaber battle with Obi-Wan.
I think he chose Qui-Gon Jinn because if he had killed Yar El Poof, it would have been a hate crime.
The Sith, like, might be evil, but they are not. They're not like bigots.
No, they're not.
Exactly.
They're very tolerant.
By all means.
Yeah.
I mean, we got two guys chilling out in an apartment together. Like, who knows what they're up to?
Where do you guys live? Downtown Coruscant. Downtown from what? From the city of Coruscant. Isn't... What? I'm sorry, I just thought the whole planet was a...
Who got to talk to them, by the way? Who is this character?
This is their program.
They're looking for a patio. They want a place with a patio.
Yeah. They're looking for a new apartment. Downtown Coruscant has a lot of crime, so they're trying to go to Uptown Coruscant.
Yeah. I mean,
but the problem is, if the whole planet is one continuous city, Downtown Coruscant eventually just turns into Uptown Coruscant. It's an infinite feedback loop, right?
Can't it be like lower hemisphere Coruscant? Like southern hemisphere Coruscant?
Sure, but I mean, does the planet rotate? I don't...
Well, these are all questions we want answered. There should have been a side equal
There
called
should have been a sidequel.
Star Wars, and it's just about like the guy who does like,
City
plumbing.
planning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The guy who just designs the roads of Coruscant and the traffic patterns.
Because you understand what I'm saying. If Coruscant goes on like a first to 100th Street,
it's a sphere. I understand what you're saying.
At some part you're going to loop right back.
The planet is a sphere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There are no rivers.
We don't. Yeah, I guess no. It's just lights.
He made it clear the whole
Planet,
planet is a city.
Yeah.
Whole city is a planet.
Hey, it works both ways.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
it's just I do not understand the purpose of these characters.
I don't either.
Movie. I don't understand any of it except to just give us some sword fighting. I guess that's the reason.
And look,
oh man, we haven't even gotten into how crazy Qui-Gon is. That guy is out of his mind.
He's out of his mind.
He kidnaps a slave by rigging an important race that's being gambled on by millions of aliens.
I have nothing to say to that. You're 100% correct.
The man
You're 100%
is out
correct.
of his mind.
You're 100% correct. This is that long pause was I was trying to build a new theory
of what's going on here.
Of
We're
what this
talking
movie's
about
about.
a grown man who surreptitiously snatches blood from a child's arm, and when the kid's like, "Ow, why did you do that?" He's like, "Don't worry about it. Fuck you," and he hits him around the head.
I agree with you on all counts.
Absolutely.
I have no ways or means to defend him.
No. And he deserves to die, and it's great when he dies.
But there was a new theory forming in my brain about what this movie is about.
Sure.
Our fucking central question. What is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace?
You're right. What's it about?
The fourth film directed by George Lucas.
THX 1138.
American Graffiti. There's one other one I'm always forgetting, and then Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe it's about how authority should be derived from the people.
Okay. Rather than from some blood test.
Well, that there's so much time spent in the Galactic Senate.
Yep.
On the politics, the Queen.
The red tape.
Senator, Chancellor. They don't get much done, but they don't get much done in a very civil manner.
That's true.
Whereas the Jedi fight a lot, and what happens because of it?
They slash their way through whole planets.
Yeah.
To maintain the status quo.
They don't stop the blockade. One of them dies.
They
kidnap
One
children.
of two dies.
They
In fact,
kidnap
the only Jedi Knight dies.
They kidnap children because they feel like rules don't apply to them. In the same way
true.
that many priests molest small children. Because they
I'm
believe
not disputing any
they
of
are
this.
being given power from a higher god. They know who they have to answer to.
The Force.
Right. They are not beholden to our common human laws.
Right.
These Jedis think that they're fucking hot shit.
Yeah.
They got this shitty blood disease, so we're supposed to feel bad for them.
Some of them have been in prison for 100 years.
Right, so they're just living life
or
like...
have noses in their hands.
They're living life like everything's a fucking Make-A-Wish Foundation day.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'll rig a chance cube.
Qui-Gon... I can't get over
That's still the main one
it's
for
me.
me.
It's the worst part.
That's the main one.
But Qui-Gon does go on to Anakin about, the Force, the living binding energy, and, it's so great, and la la la. But he might as well be saying, Lord Xenu put a bunch of planes in a volcano.
Yeah, right. He also might be saying, no, trust me, if you touch my penis, you'll have a better thing. That sounds like, that's how, pedophiles groom their victims. I'm not trying to be...
Maybe that's why they're Qui-Gon, this kid is old. Do you
Yeah.
have like a crush on this kid?
Yeah, he's
What's
like
going
a
on,
little
Qui-Gon?
defined.
And he's like, you know
Qui-Gon.
what? I'll train him. I'll train
Yeah.
him in secret.
You know what? It's fine. Yeah.
I'll train him at my house.
This kid seems scared.
Yeah, and they're like, this kid is frightened, and also like, what does he have parents? Like, we haven't. Where
Yeah.
did you get him?
Don't ask about that. His parents are fine. They said it's cool for me to hang out with him. And they're like, Anakin, why do you feel scared? And it's like, I don't know, 'cause Qui-Gon's been running his like fingers along the outside of my butthole for an hour now.
And he says,
just
I miss
circling
my
it slowly.
mother.
I miss my mom.
I miss my mother.
Why is this guy circling my butthole with his pinky? I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole movie, Obi-Wan is like, can I be a Jedi yet? Like,
So, throughout history,
yep.
sometimes religious figures,
Take advantage of their authority.
yes.
I thought you were going to say have sex with young boys.
Oh, always. I always throughout history, religious figures have sex with young boys. Sometimes they take advantage of their authority.
In other ways.
Yes.
Such as starting wars or
Right.
repressing whole, ethnic minorities or
Right.
something like that.
Right. In our first episode, we said maybe this movie is about politics. Maybe it's about how politics and systems and the endless
It's like The
bureaucracy.
Wire.
Right. How it prevents things from getting done.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like The Wire. Yo, you guys seen The Wire?
How government is inherently flawed.
Yes.
And how it prevents actual social change.
Right.
Societal change.
And then in the second episode, we said that it's kind of said the same thing. Amidala.
Yeah.
God, we're a bunch of.
It was the death. It was the death of the culture, the
Exactly.
high society,
Right.
all
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
stuff.
So
The
about-
silly tomfoolery. If you have the time to create decoys and everything, then maybe that needs to collapse.
Exactly.
But
the death of aristocracy.
this episode, I'm arguing the opposite. That maybe the Jedis are the ones who need to be taken down.
Yeah. Well, it's about like the ossified like sort of structure of religion and how it prevents any kind of advancement or change.
Right. So better to let the democratically elected officials.
Yeah. Well, those guys aren't great either. We might need a revolution. Maybe we need some kind of like figurehead who can lead the whole galaxy. If you know what I'm saying.
You're saying you need like a new hope to come in.
Yeah, exactly.
A change.
We kind of need to brush a lot of old things aside. But, sometimes the only thing that keeps star systems in line is fear.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe the answer is repression.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't know.
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's too bad he's never going to get to make any more of these.
Man, how many more times are we going to watch this movie?
It's so many more times. It's weird. It's weird for how well this film did. Because at the time of its release, it was the third
Murdered.
highest grossing film of all time, second highest grossing.
Murdered.
And still,
People were
no
talking
plans
about
for a
it
sequel.
for so long. People lined up to buy tickets. It was crazy how people were so excited.
The hype was huge.
Huge.
Everyone went to see it, and then just stuck in development hell, apparently.
I mean, we haven't really, I'll admit, we have done absolutely no research on the other movies, if they were ever planned, if anything ever happened with them.
There must be scriptments floating around the internet.
What we've
right?
got right now is the Phantom Menace.
That's all we got.
That's what
That's
we've
all
got
we
right
can
now.
go
Maybe
off of,
in a
unfortunately.
future later date, we'll talk about something else. But right now, what we've got is the Phantom Menace.
Maybe when we're 60. I don't know if Lucas ever gets off his hind. And
If he gets off one of his Jedi poop chairs.
yeah. You know what's so weird to me? I looked this up the other day.
Producer Ben like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I looked this up the other day. Because I just realized I misspoke here. I said if Lucas ever gets off his hide and decides to make another film, I found out he sold his production company Lucasfilm to Disney.
Oh, well, he probably made like $5-6 million from that sale.
$1 billion.
Wait a second. For one movie?
Okay. He also produced the film Tucker, A Man in His Dreams.
Oh, about the guy who made a car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah,
Jeff Bridges.
right,
I think
yeah,
it did about
yeah.
$13 million domestic in the U.S.
Got a couple Oscar nominations.
2, I
Dean
think.
Stockwell, I think, was nominated for that.
Lando was nominated.
Lando Calrissian. Was nominated.
Martin Landau Calrissian.
I don't know where that name came from.
The great Martin Landau Calrissian.
Go on.
I talk you 12 points.
Oh boy. Yeah, he made it right. He produced a few other movies.
Radioland Murders,
Yeah,
Howard the Duck, Willow.
Ooh, Willow.
He did do the Indiana Jones films.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah. They're fun.
Yeah, they're good fun.
Yeah.
There's like at least one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, I mean, I think maybe Disney, was like could have like gone back to the accountants, like thought like,
Yeah.
maybe shouldn't have taken Lucas's first offer. But hey, there's a lot to play around with. You've got the nose hand Jedi, and you've got Boss Nass. Like, there's a lot of things you can kind of
a lot of elements in
chance
play.
cubes.
Yeah. So maybe
Why
they,
isn't Disney selling chance cubes?
they should be selling chance
Every
cubes.
time I'm like, should I do this or that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do? Where are the chance cubes?
As a former part-time Disney Store employee, I can tell you chance cubes would be flying off the shelves.
You could price those things at the low price of $800.
Oh my god.
Every household would want one.
A jewel-encrusted chance cube. One side it's rubies, the other side it's like
Sapphires. Sapphires.
Yeah, you just need two different colors.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Disney bought the company.
Chance cubes. Yeah, they were like watching the movie and they were like,
No, I'm saying
and then Watto takes out a chance cube and the guy was like, whoa, wait, what's that? What's that? What's that? Get this guy on the phone. What's his name? What's his name?
mucus. Maybe they bought it because they see potential in the Star Wars universe, the Phantom Menace universe.
Yeah.
Or maybe, and we have to consider this as a possibility in Hollyweird, maybe they just wildly overbid on Strange Magic.
Yeah, Strange Magic, man.
Maybe they spent $5 billion on Strange Magic.
I thought it was $1 billion.
Really?
I have no idea.
I think it's more. Anyway, so the thesis at the end of the movie, at the end of this episode rather, as to what the movie is about, I think is fuck everyone. All power is bad.
Yeah, but especially like, just because a blood test says it doesn't make it so.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's not like an anti-vaxxers movie, but like maybe he's
maybe
arguing
it is.
against the existence of STDs.
Could be.
Maybe this entire film, the meaning of this entire film is him trying to convince his girlfriend that he doesn't have HIV. Maybe Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Uh-huh.
She's like, I sense much anger in you.
No.
You seem like...
Just because there's a blood test. Just because Dr. Poof said so.
She's like, look, you're just afraid that I have HIV.
Right.
And fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering.
That's the path to the dark side, whatever that is.
Yeah. So maybe that's what the movie's about. Maybe it's blood always lies.
Yep.
Power is corruptible. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
I don't know. David, I don't know what this movie's about.
Well, you know what we should do?
Like 15 more episodes?
A, yes.
Yeah.
B, listen to the director's commentary.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Next week, we're going to have our first ever guest on the show.
What?
He is a man named Connor Ratliff. He is a wonderful comedian, writer, actor, performer around town.
So nice.
And he has been doing a monthly show in character as George Lucas. He hosts a show called The George Lucas Talk Show.
The guy who made American Graffiti?
Seems like limited comedic territory.
Yeah, whatever.
But this is a man who's been living, because he lives his characters. He's been living
as Lucas.
A life as Lucas. So I think he's going to have a lot of insight into psychology of Lucas.
Yeah.
And we're going to let Lucas, the man himself, speak to us through this commentary, along with,
and
I think...
talk about what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Probably going to be a lot of gibberish about like other failed projects, but we'll just ignor that.
The what-ifs.
Yeah.
The could-have-beens.
Yeah.
But so that's in store for next week. Take out your Phantom Menace Blu-rays. Load on that commentary track.
Can we like start your engines?
Start your
sound
engines.
Effect,
Rev your pod racers.
Yeah.
$5 saki.
Are we ending on that?
No, we're not. Here's a real ending. I, Griffin Newman,
I, David Sims,
love all people equally.
Absolutely. I love all people equally.
And the
I'm
views
no bigot.
and opinions expressed in this podcast are only a reflection of how much George Lucas hates everyone.
Of his sick mind.
His sick
viewpoint.
Sick
on life.
fucking mind. Oh, God, but now what I do to Lindsay Duncan.
Oh, boy. That's going to be a whole other podcast.
Oh, boy. Is that...
I think that's it.
That's a good place to end. Yeah.